Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. Today is February 1st. February 1st. Rabbit, rabbit. Does anyone do that? Okay, my name is Tina Bickford. I am the Tatted Stamper. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, located in southern New Hampshire. How are you guys today? Welcome to my craft room. Do we have that? We can see my tree. I still have my tree up. If you're watching live, leave me a comment and let me know where you're watching from. So today, good morning, Ken. So today, I'm going to demonstrate a card that I did. I don't know if any of you follow me on Facebook. I had posted some cards that I did for the 2026 virtual card making retreat with Stampin' Up. It was super, super fun. Good morning, Teresa from Billerica. Yeah, so cold. So this week, oh my God, you got it's been cold everywhere. It's been freezing everywhere. Florida, all of that. They got snow in North Carolina, South Carolina. As a matter of fact, when Lisa logs on and says hello, good morning, Dad. Good morning, Luann and Sandra from Oklahoma. 14 degrees. However, a heat wave by noon, 40. Pretty bad when 40 degrees is a heat wave, honestly. So my friend Lisa lives in North Carolina and they got snow. Okay. Lisa, good morning. Up to, wait a minute, 15 degrees in North Carolina this morning. Lisa, how much snow did you guys end up with? So my daughter also lives in South Carolina and they had snow. Yesterday morning, she sent me a picture of her dog playing in the snow, having snow zoomies, which I love. He's never seen snow, so that was really kind of fun. We are not getting anything in New Hampshire with the storm that they just got in North Carolina, South Carolina. So yay us. It is going to be cold and windy though, so we'll get that. Good morning, Mom. So the virtual card retreat that I did, I was actually in Florida when they did the event live. Okay, Lisa, just 6 inches? Just 6 inches, she says. But it drifted. Yeah, the wind caused all of the snow drifts. Yeah, so we have right now, that last storm we got like 20 plus inches of snow. My husband plowed the driveway and we now have a wall of snow at the beginning of my driveway or end of my driveway, however you want to say it, where my backyard is. And that wall of snow is at least 10 feet high. It's huge. I joke that it'll be there until June. So we have, so I was in Florida visiting some friends and we picked the greatest time because it was cold before we went there and cold this week after we got back. So we had nice, beautiful weather, did lots of, soaked in a lot of sun, no sunburn though. The card retreat was while I was in Florida. So I did it all when I got back. I watched all of the replays. It was awesome. You can still get this kit if the retreat, if you're still interested in doing it. You would have access to a private Facebook group, so you can get to all of the videos where the instructors taught how to do the cards. I'm going to do one today, but with other products. And I'm going to show you, I did one other, I have the card that I made in the retreat and I have one other alternate and then the one today. But if I have time afterwards, I'm going to show you all the cards I made in the retreat. not just the 15 cards from the retreat, but I started going crazy after with just inspiration from the retreat. So I'm going to show you all of those. And spoiler alert, 7 of them were made using a tissue box. I know, a tissue box, right? All right, so let me switch down to the desk camera. The button, looking for the button there. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to actually be. All right, so the products that I'm going to use, I'll start there. And this is actually the Forever Floral. So this is actually going to be an online exclusive for available in March. If you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order this already, or if you purchase the virtual card retreat, you got it in the retreat. So in the retreat, for the retreat, we got all of the designer series paper. We got some two-tone cardstock. All of that came, everything to do the 15 cards, plus all kinds of, you just ended up with a bunch of extra materials. Good morning, Lynn from Southern New Jersey. I did it right that time. New Jersey, I said it. So also in the retreat, we got so the stamp set, the die set, all of the paper that we needed, an entire package of basic white cardstock, and then the embellishments to go with it. So an entire pack of embellishments. And what we got for the embellishments was the Moody palette glossy dots. So these ones here. And you can see I've already made the 15 cards, and this is what I have left. Awesome. So we have all of those left. And then we also got an exclusive stamp set for just a retreat. So this stamp set is only for people who purchase the retreat. This won't be for sale on its own. So very cool. And I'm going to use a stamp out of here. I'm going to use this background stamp here, and then we're going to use some stuff from these, the floral, the Forever Florals. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to, oh, there's the dies. So these are the dies from there. What did I do with that other one right there? So there's 3 label dies, different sizes. There's this beautiful large detail die, and this floral bouquet die, and there's some separate flowers, separate standalone dies for the flowers and a leaf. And then these cut out images from the Forever Florals. So this one would cuts out this, and then you have two for the leaves and 2 for the flowers. So 2 for this leaf and 2 for this flower. So I love that because you can die cut more than one at a time. And then this one right here cuts out this. Okay, so let's get started. All right, I am going to grab my card base. For the card base, our card base is 8.5 by 5.5. I've already scored it at 4 1/4, but I'm also going to, so I scored it right there at 4 1/4, but I'm also going to score it again at 1 1/4. So I'm going to use this side of my trimmer for my 1 1/4. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to score that. And then for this one, we're going to be using a piece of the double-sided adhesive paper, the adhesive sheets. Now this has the little, I always peel from the wrong side, the little tabs that you can peel off. So and it's 3 sections. So you're actually just going to peel 1 section at a time. Now, this is exactly the 1 1/4. That's what they had us cut it at 1 1/4. I found that it was a lot easier for me if I just took like a 1/16 off of there, which looks like I've already done. Okay, so good enough. Hold, please. All right. Give me just a second. I'm actually going to put my desk down and I'm going to sit. My back is a little sore this morning. Sorry. Put my desk down. You guys can't see the desk moving, but you can probably hear it. I'm going to sit. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put the adhesive sheet on my card now. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Someone's actually ringing my doorbell. That's weird. All right, so I'm going to peel this off here, like so, just one section. I'm just going to peel one section. And then I'm going to come in here. This is the section that has the adhesive on it. I'm going to actually line up the other side of it. So this other side, so that I can put it in, I'm kind of hold it in place so that when I bring this side down, I know that it's going to be, you know, lined up. And there's actually, oh geez. And I broke it at that part, which is fine because you got 2 more sections to peel. All right. So let's do that again. Because I broke it, I'm going to have to come in here and line that up there like so. And then I'm going to peel this last section off there like that. And I'm going to leave this backing sheet on for right now because we're going to be die cutting that. I am going to just take that little section off right there. Okay, cool. All right, now I'm going to grab that large die. Oops. Grab the large die. Put that off to the side. And I'm going to grab my die cutting machine and bring that in here. Need more space. I usually use my chair for all of my stuff, but I need to sit in it. So, all right. So I'm going to be bringing in this die. We're going to cut this very specifically. So I'm using my base plate 1 and my thin die adapter 2 and one of my number 3 plates. I'm going to take this, cut my card where the 1 1/4 inches here. So this part of the card is actually going to fold back like this and adhere. So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to flip this over because I want to make sure this is going to be the side that shows. That's going to be like the front side. So I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to center this from side to side here, from the top and the bottom of the card, and then the same amount of space from the score line. So as close as you can get there. Now, this is a large die and it's a large square, you know, straight edge here, which means that it's going to be hard to roll through. You can angle this just a bit. Now, I'm not going to be able to roll it all the way through because then it will crunch my paper up here. But if I roll it through and then roll it back, that will work and I won't get the big clunk. So there, like so. Put my last plate on carefully. And we're going to roll that through. Oh, I saw it moved on me. Okay. There, you can hold this down with a Post-it if you want. I don't have any Post-its right here, do I? Oh, I do. All right, grab one right here. Hold that in place with the Post-it. There, now it won't move. And put that on there, and then we're going to roll that through. Okay, much better, although very hard to roll through. There. Oops. Pardon my hand. Okay, roll it back through. Big clunk. Set that aside for now. Let's take a look at that. All right, take that Post-it off. Take this off gently. And this is going to, you can use your little foam pad and your die cutting brush to just kind of loosen all of that up. Poke it all out. I'm going to clean that die after. I'll set that aside. I'm just going to use my take your pick tool to get some of this other stuff out. Poke those holes. Like that. Ah. There. And almost done. Put big pieces there. This is a very detailed die. The backing paper in some of that will come off. Not too worried about that. Got all of the other pieces out. This is the backing paper in here. That adhesive sheet. All right, good enough. All of that out of the way. Oh, all that just went on the floor. Okay, well, that's crafting. All right, so next step, I'm just going to do a little more die cutting. So I've already die cut 2 pieces here. So I'm using the two-tone cardstock. So this cardstock, it comes 12 by 12, and it's two-sided. So you get a darker side on one side and then a lighter side on the other. So this is Pool Party, and I did 4. I've already die cut 2 already. So I have 2 pieces here that is it's 3 inches by 3 inches. Now I know it's hard to see. I want one light and one dark. On Pool Party, it's very hard to see. I want one light and one dark. I'm actually going to die cut both of these at the same time. So when I do that, because the two-tone cardstock is much thinner than the regular cardstock. So when I do that, I'm going to flip one over to the light and one to the dark. So I'm cutting the same way, but different, because otherwise you would have 2 that were, this way. So I'm going to cut those. So let's just set those 2 aside and that aside. Grab that die cutter again. And then at the same time, so that we can do this kind of, we can get all this die cutting done. At the same time, I'm going to die cut one of my labels. So I'm going to put those up there. Grab that floral bouquet die, that detailed floral bouquet die. Place that on there. I am going to grab my Post-it and just hold that in place. And then I'm going to use the medium label die from this set, and I'm going to cut 2 labels the same size. Now, this is I'm using scraps here. I use scraps. So this is a piece of the basic white that actually came from the center of that detail die, but it fits. So I'm going to use it. So I'm going to put that, I'll put that right there. Not worried about holding that in place. And let's just cut those. And then I'm just going to need to cut one more label. Get over that detailed die. And if you notice, I put my label in kind of at an angle. That is so that that part would go through the cutting machine a little bit easier. So let's just, so there, now I can throw that away. Although that looks like something from like Game of Thrones or something, doesn't it? Some medieval or prehistoric something. All right, so I'm going to just cut one more label. Put that in kind of at an angle. And roll that one through. I'm just going to roll it back. That should be the end of our die cutting. We'll set that aside. On the floor. On the floor you go. All right, let's pull some stuff back in here. I'm going to take this. All right, so these are the two labels, our two labels. So we'll put those right with the rest of our card. Now this, very detailed. Just do this. Now this one, remember, I caught two at the same time here. So I'm going to just pull all of this gently off. And then I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and in that one of those relief holes, I'm going to just grab and just gently pull this out. I didn't do the dryer sheet trick on this one either. So, but it did come out of this one pretty good. I'll clean that die out after. Oh, pretty good. Don't have to. So when you have two together like this, you're just going to gently separate them, just like that. Now, what I have found when I'm doing this is the top one, I very seldom have ever had to poke anything extra out, but the bottom one I've had to poke stuff out of. So just do that. Do that. Get all of that out. This is why I cut two of them ahead of time, so you guys wouldn't have to watch me just doing this. And because we want to look at more cards when I'm done. There. Poke all of that out. Those little flower centers are tiny. Okay. All of that out. So, and I find that they're actually on the back. So let me just poke those like that. All right, the rest of those I'll poke right out after. All right, let's get that like that. Okay. So one of the things, I think I'm done with that, so I can put that aside. So one of the things that and that's garbage, and that's garbage. No, that's not garbage. All right. All right, so we have all of our bits and pieces here, and then we're going to have we have some designer series paper and some more two-tone cardstock. So I'm using designer series paper from the Unbounded Beauty. Let's see. Yes, Luann, it's a lot of weeding. I like my die brush, but it doesn't get everything, and it gets stuff stuck in it. It doesn't get everything, so you do have to poke some other stuff out. But it's okay. It's good. It's good. And welcome, Carol. Thanks for checking. Nope, better late than never. So from the Unbounded Beauty, I'm just using some design series paper from there. I wanted to do, this is how this whole card came. I wanted to do Pool Party because I love the color I love Pool Party. So I wanted to do that. So I looked for some designer series paper that had Pool Party in it, and this was my choice. So I have no idea. I have not made this card with these elements, so I have no idea how it's going to look, but we'll see. And then I'm also using, oh, I should tell you what the sizes are here. Sorry. All right, this first piece of designer series paper is 2 7/8 by 5.5, and this piece is 2 by 5.5. And then I also have 2 strips of Berry Burst two-tone cardstock. Now this one is going to be a little bit easier for you to see the 2 different tones. Size first, these are 3/8 wide, 5.5 inches long. So you can see now the two-tone cardstock. So when I flip that over, you can see it's still Berry Burst, just one's a little bit lighter and one's a little bit darker. This kind of reminds me of like when you do the first and second generation stamping with your ink, the first generation is always that deep, rich color, and then stamp it again without inking it up, and you get just a little bit lighter version of your ink. So we're going to be using those. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And I'm just going to grab a sheet, a scrap piece of paper, just 8.5 by 11 paper, because we're going to be doing some stamping on these and on the designer series paper. Let's see, where do I want to go first? Let's do these. Let's grab my stamp set. All right, from the exclusive stamp set from the retreat, I'm going to use this little background stamp. This is just, it's words. You can't tell what the words, well, some of the words you can tell. It's something by exchange, something cards is, I can't tell from there. It's very, you can see. So I'm just going to grab that stamp and set that aside and grab a block. And then grab a couple more blocks. I am going to use from the Forever Florals, You're on My Mind and in My Heart. That's what we're going to put on the labels, on the sentiment tags. You're in my mind there. Okay, we've got those. And let's see, that we're going to stamp on these. Let's stamp these first. And then we can be done with the pool party. So I need my little piece of scrap paper because this ink is going to go through. So this is something that I never think to do, just to add a little bit of texture and dimension to pieces. They're very detailed already. I'm just going to do some tone on tone stamping. So the pool party ink, I'm going to take this word set, and it doesn't really matter if it's upside right or upside down. And I'm just going to stamp right on here. And you're not, I mean, you don't see it. You don't see much of it, but it will, I'll put that up closer to the camera so that you can see the difference. So that just has a little bit of texture and dimension on it. And it was just enough to add a little bit of something. And it doesn't have to be all over the whole thing. You can barely see it, but it's just one little added piece of detail. All right, so I'm just going to clean that off because we're going to use Berry Burst. This one, let's close that and set those aside. And then I'm going to take for my Berry Burst, I'm actually going to, I'm going to stamp on this. I'm going to stamp because this is, I mean, it's busy, but it's still, there's still lots of room here to stamp and put some detail. So I'm going to use the big floral stamp from this one right here. Grab a big block, and we're going to stamp on this designer series paper with Berry Burst. Oops. Do that very well there. Okay. And it's going to be, I'm going to stamp, you know, off the, stamp a little bit there, just giving it a little bit of, I mean, how gorgeous. Do you ever think to do this? Elizabeth, does any of you that are stampers, do you ever think to stamp on your designer series paper? I don't. I never think to do this. So I'm just kind of spinning things around and placing, you know, different, like so. Like that. So I basically just made my own custom designer series paper to put on here. Isn't that cool? I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. And then, and you can do the same thing. Like if you wanted to add a little bit, I know this is a really thin strip and you're probably not going to see it, but if you just wanted to add a little bit of texture to that, you could do that. Okay. Oops. Leave that open. Do that. We'll stamp our sentiment tags now. So I'm going to take one of them. You're on my mind. And this one just barely fits on that medium tag, but it fits. Isn't that font gorgeous? Oh, love it. Love it. Anything that has that whole fancy cursive handwriting. Oh, I just love it. Okay. And in my heart. Do that and that. All right. Now I think we're going to go ahead and put this side and start assembling. Yeah, so this piece right here this is the side I'm going to use. This is pretty busy. You could stamp more of like this word on here if you wanted, but I think I'm going to leave it because that's pretty busy. So, all right, let's start assembling. Let's get that out of the way. Grab our card base. Okay. Now this is the part right here that has the adhesive sheet on it. That's going to be, when we fold our card, that's going to be up. So that is facing up. Let's fold our card and give that a crease. And then we're going to take our fancy schmancy handmade designer series paper. I'm going to use my seal for this just because it's faster. So in the class, let me just see if I can find. So in the class, all of the, in the retreat, all of the, this is one of the designer series papers that came in the retreat. All of the 12 by 12 sheets, when you flip them over, you can actually see just, it was all printed with all of the cut lines so that you could just go through and you could cut all of your designer series paper all ahead of time. And it was numbered for which project it was going to be. It was very cool. But I have so much, like I have all this stuff still left from that retreat, and I have been creating with it. So when they cut everything, you didn't have to think about any of the measurements at all, with the exception of your card bases. But when they had us for this card, this piece of designer series paper, they had us cut at 3 inches. It was 3 inches wide. Because I found that by placing it there, right in that score line, it made it a little bit too, like it felt crowded to me. So I just took a little bit off of that, because when this part right here folds over, this section right here is going to cover anything that is up against the score line. You're not going to see it. So this piece right here, I'm going to line up with my score line. I'm going to just come over and line that right up with my score line. So this was the other thing too, like all of the cards that we did, they took a card base, and our designer series paper was, there's no border around any of them. I always do a border, and I just don't ever think to do a card without a border. So you can see now that where that designer series paper is, it ends before the score line. That's what I want, because this piece right here is going to fold over. You're never going to see where my designer series paper ends. So we are going to peel this backing sheet off, and I have to remember that I broke it, so I have to peel it off in separate sheets. Start from this side now, and I'm just peeling that gently so it all comes up there. That is oddly satisfying. So all of that is that adhesive sheet is off. All of the little pieces that were all stuck in there that I hadn't, you know, gotten out, all those gone except for one little piece there where I broke it. Okay. Now we're going to fold at that score line. And this is just going to fold right over, and it's going to adhere to our designer series paper. Grab my bone folder, give that score line a good, and then I did this. So I didn't want to mess with any of the detail, but I want to burnish this down. So I just grabbed my little scrap paper, my scrap paper and just laid it on the top. And then I just gave it a good burnish that way. So I'm not catching any of those little ends with my bone folder, but I'm able to give it a nice good burnish like that. Cool. Now we have two pieces of the Berry Burst two-tone. So I was thinking that I would do the darker one here on the front, like so, and put the lighter one with that one. Or I can even do the darker one on that side too. So I'm going to take this, and it's just wide enough for my seal. If I stay on there to the end like so. Ugh, okay. This little piece right here is going to butt right up against this. You can overlap it a little bit if you want, but a lot of it's going to get hidden once we put all of the detail and the sentiment tag on. So I'm not too worried about that. We'll do that like so. Gorgeous. Then let's just do the inside. So the inside, we're going to take this piece of designer series paper, and we're going to put that. Isn't that side gorgeous? Love that. Oh, I love it. And we're going to put this one on like so. And we'll do it this way, seems to be up. I'm going to do the same thing, line it right up with the edge of my card. Right to the edge. Like that. And then this one is going to do the same thing. It's going to butt right up against that one. And I actually think I like that dark on here too. Yeah. Yeah, I like the dark on here too. So I'm just going to do the dark on this side too. I think if I didn't stamp the flowers on this side, I would have liked the light over there. But this has got this dark here. So it looks like it's got some lighter, you know, berry burst in there. So it would work either way. So I'm just going to turn this a bit so I can see it. Oops. Line that up. Put it right up against that. And voila. Inside, outside. Isn't that pretty? Love it, love it. So I'm just going to burnish that again. And then we're going to put these on. So we have two light and two dark. We're going to put a light and a dark on each side of this flap. So I'm going to put the light up there and the dark down here like this. I'm just going to tack these in place with my little precision tip glue bottle here. And then we're going to put the sentiment tag on. And you could put these on the back of your sentiment tag and then pop the whole thing up. We're going to put this sentiment tag on dimensionals. I'm just going to tack these down flat to the card. So I'm just going to take this, pick a couple of spots on here, and do that. Hold that just for a second. And then we'll take the dark and do the same thing. And I like having all of this, like having this loose. It gives it a little bit of dimension to me, movement, all of that. So then my dimensionals here, we're going to put our tag on. Now, in the card we made in the class, the tag was out a little bit further. I'm going to put mine in a little bit. I want it to overhang a little bit, but I don't want it to overhang a lot. That's just my preference. So I'm going to put, because I want to be able to see some of this, but there's a lot of busy going on here. So I do want to cover some of that up. So I'm just going to, where I want this tag, I'm going to flip it over where I want it and put dimensionals there, and then grab, only need two here. Now what you can do is, if you know where you want your tag here, you can put the dimensionals right on your card, and then so it would be these two would actually be on the card, and then you could put these two on the label itself. I'll do that for the inside so that you can see what I'm talking about, like that. And then I know where my dimensionals are. I'm going to hold my fingers here so that I know that I'm not putting that, and I'm going to just like so, that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the inside. Just open this up. I'm going to take these and tack these on with a little bit of glue. This one, I'm going to put the dark up top, and you do want to make sure that you're not coming into this, past this score line, or obviously that will get folded up and crunched up and damaged. And then we're going to put this one on like so. I'm just going to flip that around this way. Now you can see there are still some little flowers that the holes aren't poked out of. I can do that after, or some of them will be hidden. So I'm not too worried about it. All right, I'm going to grab my two dimensionals. Now I want this tag here is going to be here, and it's going to be lined up with this. So I can see really easily here where my dimensionals need to go if I'm going to place them on my card. So I can do that. And then my other two dimensionals, because this is going to go here, now I can just place these right on the label over here. Take these off. Take these off. And I'm just going to line that up with that front label. Put that on, and then I can just come in here now. I can poke these out, these little flower circles. I probably could have done that before, but like that. And then I'm going to put some embellishments on it. So I'm just going to use up, I'm still trying to use up some of these pastel adhesive back sequins. So I'm going to use the pink ones. I'm just going to put big and small here. And then a big one like right here. like that. Set all this aside, cover that glue. And that is our card. So you can stamp something on the inside too if you want. Like you could stamp something over here. This you could stamp something along here. I think there's a lot of busy going on this side of the card, so I like just this being left blank. Now this, you can see all of those dimensionals in there. If that bothers you, you can just put a little bead of glue on there and you could close that, which is what I did on one of my cards. I'll show you. And there, so there's that. So let me just grab the cards. And in the retreat, we also did envelopes for all of these cards. So every card we did an envelope as well. So that is our card today. Gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. This is the card that we did in the class. So this one, we took just the two-tone cardstock, the bubble bath two-tone cardstock, stamped on it, just like I did this one here, and then stamped extra little flowers on it. And then opens like that. And this is the one from the class. I didn't close that up. This is the envelope that goes with it. So we did that one. And then I did one, and this is using still the stuff from the kit, that that crumb cake designer series paper I showed you. I stamped on that with a flower. I colored the flowers with there is a fill-in stamp here to fill in the flower centers. So I did that in the Calypso Coral, put the Calypso Coral two-tone cardstock here. I stamped on that with one of the other stamps from that set, just to give that a little bit. But all the same, did the same thing there. Oh, this one I didn't close up either. I thought I closed this one up. I think I intended to do it, but I didn't. So there's the inside. So for the inside, I just used crumb cake, two-tone cardstock, stamped on that, and then just used a piece of that designer series paper without any stamping on it. So there's that one. I didn't do an envelope for that one yet. So there's the cards. And then we have a little bit of time, so I'm going to show you now the cards that I made. So let me move these ones out of the way. I'll show you the cards in the envelopes. So, and I don't know if these are in order, but maybe like in the 1, 2, 3, but that doesn't really matter. So this one here we did. This is using that same detailed background die, but this one we came in from each side. So just like we did this one, we came in on each side to give it that look. So it's solid in the center, because that's where all of your elements are anyway. So there was this one stamped on the inside, and then the envelope to match. And then this one, you guys, this one is over the top. Love it, love it. It has got gold embossing on it, all of this gold embossing. It's got that detailed die. It's got lift with dimension. It's so pretty. And then the inside, just that little shadow from a piece of the detailed die. There's the envelope. This one we did same detailed die. This one is a trifold. Opens like this. So this one's cool too, because the back of your card is gorgeous. That's the envelope for that one. We did this one. This is a little tab. So this one untucks to open for your card. That tab is actually on the back also. So you could do something on the back. If you don't like the way that that tab shows on the back, you could put a panel on there. There's the envelope that I did for that one. And this one, use a stencil to make the heart stamped on top of that inside of the card. And then this is the envelope for that one. Gorgeous. I love this one. This one, I will just This is a trigger warning. If anyone has OCD, this one was probably the hardest one for me to make. I think, Ken, if you're still on, you know, because I showed you the picture of this one. So I'm just going to show you the envelope first. This is the envelope, and this is the card. So if you are like me and these angles, yeah, this one was a hard one for me to make. But this was weaving paper and adding some linen thread. Oh, that was what I wanted to show you on this one. When this card was, this is an over the top one, but you can't really tell. I'll bring it up. This one, they actually had us using the linen thread and sewing a little bit of linen thread on there to help tack that detailed die. It was very cool. So there's that one. If I did this one again, I think I would do it straight because this is hard to look at. this one, nice and simple. This is the envelope. Oops, upside down. That's the envelope. And this one, there's a little bit of bleeding on the back because we had to color on the inside with our blends. That was a little bit hard for me. I don't love the on the back, so I would put another panel on the back to hide that. And for the envelope, there's a little bit of bleeding on the envelope, but what I did when we did this, I actually tucked a piece of cardstock in the envelope when I did the blending on the blending brushes on this, because I didn't want that bleed to come all the way through the back. If it's on the inside there, that's okay, because when they open the card, you know. So there's that one. That one's got lots of layers. It's got some two-tone cardstock dies. Beautiful. This one. This one opens. There's a little tie. I like that. This one. Oops, I'm not even in the camera. This one and this one. Like that. So this designer series paper actually was all black and white, and we had to color that. Cool, cool. And the little water spots on the leaves. I put little water spots on the leaves for that one. This one we did some clear embossing. That's all clear embossing on those. There's the inside. And then this is the way I did my envelope. They did theirs differently in the retreat, but that's how I did mine. Then we had this card, which is, oops, upside down. Gorgeous. So this one, we actually took our die cuts for the two-tone and we just added a little bit of, you know, the blending to give it a little bit of the leaves, a little bit of dimension. Cool. The inside. This one was hard for me too, because this was, you know, stamp over it's okay to stamp over the score line. They told us it was okay. It was hard. I like to stay within the line. So there's the envelope that goes with that one. Gorgeous. This one. This is taking that big floral stamp that we use today, this one here, taking this one and stamping it, and then cutting it in half, and then kind of flipping it. Put one half over here and one half over here. I wouldn't have thought to do that. But this was same thing again. This is stamping on that designer series paper, just giving it that older, you know, look. I don't think to do that. And that's the envelope for that one. And this one, all the bleed is on that. I'm okay with that because it's on the inside of the envelope. It's not on the front. It's not on the back. This one's cool. This one, there's the envelope. Not, you know, so this is the same thing, envelope. This is designer series paper we stamped. We did this a lot. We stamped on our designer series paper. Love it. So then we have this one. This one, they taught us how to take a rectangular frame and make it a square. Super cool. has more of that like sewing to keep the parts on. And then this one has, I gotta fix that. This one has flip flaps. How cool is that? Little flip flaps, those little flip flaps from Close to My Heart. There's that one. This one, which was weaving paper in and out of a stencil, curling up the edges. I always forget to do that, but it's simple, it's cute, it's simple, it's clean, but it has just that really cool element, and that's it. Now what's cool about that is excuse me, when we did that, let's see if I can find a piece of cardstock. So what I was taught when you're roughing up your edges, what I was taught is to open and rough it up like this, to rough that up. And you get, but you can do the same thing with your scissors closed, and it's safer with this edge here, which is what they had us do. You just rough that up just like that, and you get the same, safer. You don't have your scissors open, and you're not going to cut your fingers. So there's that card, and the inside and the envelope, super cute. But I like that nice clean look on the front there. This card, you guys, oh my God, this was the last card. So this is the last of the cards that we made in the retreat. So this was, I just did this for the envelope, and then on the front, this one. Look how gorgeous. It's got gold embossing on it. It's got that flip flop that's got like shaker stuff in it, like that. Oh, gorgeous. And that's my inside. This card. Now, you know I'm never going to part with these cards because I love them all. But I did some cards after, and I've already posted these in the private Facebook group. So I took the card that had this one here. Oops. So this is a white stencil, and we stamped on strips of paper and layered the strips of paper behind there, which is what gives this card the color behind there. So you can see this is actually, I don't know if you can see that. This is actually just a white piece of cardstock with the flowers punched out of it. So this one I used that because we got 2 sheets with that. So I used the other one and I stenciled. And I have a little bit of paper rippage here, so ignore that. But I stamped, I colored those leaves with a little bit of Wink of Stella. You can see that with my ink and the flowers. And then I added just a little bit of detail with a silver pen to each of the flowers to give it a little bit of dimension. And I didn't do anything on the inside, but there's the envelope. And then I did another one, same. Did it this way. Actually did it on, stenciled the ink on a piece of the designer series paper, popped a couple of flowers with little embellishments on it. Did the same thing on this. I used a gold pen for this one to give that detail. And then I did that on the inside, and then my envelope. A few more, we're almost done. Oops, did this one. Oh, dropped the envelope. This is the stencil that I used to make those last 2 cards, but because now I have this beautiful piece of cardstock, I did that. I also die cut leaves out of a completely embossed gold piece of cardstock. I embossed the Hello Friend. End of that, I stuck a couple pieces of embossed cardstock behind there to highlight just a few of the flowers there. Nothing on the inside there. And I just did that for my envelope, nothing on the front. Then this one. So this was taking another stencil, the one that you used to do the other cards. doing the same thing, just stenciling. I stenciled on the two-tone cardstock for this one, embossed that secret C. That's the inside, and that's the envelope. And then this one, this was the same thing. So you can see the same, if I flip that upside down, the same color scheme, blue, purple, pink. I just flipped this one up this way. This one, I colored my white embellishments with my Berry Burst blending pen so that I had blending marker, so that I had colored embellishments. And then, oops, did that for the inside. And then look at this envelope, you guys. Doesn't that look so dreamy? I love it. I got a little bit of adhesive on there. I got to get off, but love it. And then this is what I did with the stencil when I was done blending. Made another card. I stamped on the inside. And then for this one, another dreamy hearts. But then I just added the stamping to kind of pull that in. Love it. Love it. You guys, this one has been very popular in the Facebook group. So I took that detailed die and I actually made a stencil out of acetate or a window sheet so that I could make this card over and over and over again in whatever color I wanted. So all I did was I used my acetate stencil as a mask, blended ink. I left that centerpiece in there, the same centerpiece that I used to make one, to die cut one of these tags for today's card. I left that in the stencil while I was doing it so that I would get a darker blend on the outside. Took that centerpiece out and just did a nice light blending on this area here so that you could see this inner detail. And then I just stamped it, Berry Burst, did the same thing with those embellishments. This is literally stamp, ink, and paper. This is it. There's no layers to this. It's a flat card, but did that same ghost kind of detail on the inside. And then the envelope. Love this one. I'm going to make that one in lots of different colors. Okay, tissue box cards coming up. All right, this was my tissue box. This was the tissue box. It had those lilies on there. And I just did on copper clay to pull out that. Did a little bit of, that's the inside. Did one using the Mellow Moss, same thing. Because these are the bigger panels on the tissue box. So same thing there. Did the envelope for that one. And then I did, so these cards, these two are identical. So this was just taking that same sentiment label that we used today. And I die cut from the tissue box and then several more. So this is just like I drew the inspiration from this card here from the retreat. And I just did one that was primarily the green and one that was primarily the copper clay. The gold embossing on there, embossing on some of the pieces, but not all of them. So same thing. There. Those two. Oops. That thing's going. And then these two cards, I did these two here, kind of the same. So I took that label from the tissue box and then I took that stamp that had the words on it and I embossed in gold on both of those. This is the two-tone cardstock that we got. The 12 by 12 sheets of two-tone cardstock that we got in the kit. You got 6 inches of the light and 6 inches of the dark on one 12 by 12 sheet. So, and they had us cut from dark and they had us cut from light. So I ended up with this piece of two-tone cardstock that was literally split down the middle. Hold, please. What did I do with it? So like this, the way that they had us cut So we ended up with this. So I leaned into that on the crumb cake and just made it so that it was half and half to fit my card. Oops. And put one on the petal pink and one on the mellow, the mossy meadow. Like that. And then the envelopes for these ones, that's the envelope for that one. That's that two-tone. That's the way that it was. And then this one, the envelope for this, that's the inside of that one. And that's the envelope for that one. And this last card, you guys, this is the last one. Last one. This is the top of the tissue box. This is the top of the tissue box where you pull the tissues out. And I just took the plastic out of it, cleaned it up a little bit, because you know those little things never come out. The cardboard piece never comes out clean. But I did the same thing. I embossed in the gold on that, took the petal pink, embossed that. One layer here, and then I didn't like the way I colored the flowers on the bottom layer. So I actually stamped it. I recolored some flowers and I curled up the edges on that and I glued them down. Love, love, love this one. I don't think I did anything on the inside of this one. Oh, I did. Just a little bit on the inside. And then the envelope. So cool, 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 cool. Let me get, I'm dropping everything. Dropping everything. How are we doing on time? Over a little bit. We went over a little bit. Sorry, Luann. All right. Let me just flip the camera back to me so I can say goodbye, everybody. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, everybody looks. Okay. Find the button. Here I am. Ah! Thank you so much for joining me for this card. This was fun. If you are interested in, oh my gosh, I'm dropping everything here. If you're interested in purchasing that retreat, you can still get it on the Stampin' Up! Website. Just select me as your demonstrator if you do not already have one. Thank you so much. I will be back next Sunday with another card, and I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm telling you, I'm playing with these cards and this retreat and all of these supplies. I'm playing with all of these today. I spent all day yesterday doing it. Couldn't stop. So I will see you all next Sunday, and I hope that you all stay warm, and I hope it gets warmer where you are. That's it. Have a great week, everyone.